Good morning, my friends. Welcome and welcome back to the channel. This is Tanya at Sidegigcrafts. Guys, today we are going to be doing some mask making. It's Mask Making Monday here in the studio. And today we're going to need some pattern paper. We're going to need a file folder, a piece of a file folder, scraps or whatever. You can use scraps. That's no problem. We're going to be using a hole punch. We're going to be using a circle punch. We are going to be using some glue and some guest checks. I had some ideas. We're going to use also some distress ink, possibly some alcohol inks. We're going to be using some aluminum tape, and we're making faux metal tags today. I want to make some more for my stash. I made some last year, and I'm thinking it would be fun to go ahead and do it again. So I used most of them. I haven't made any today, so I don't have any to show you, but I think we're going to try using this Arteza pen glue. I've never used this one before. This one was gifted to me, so I thought, let's give it a try. I don't know if this is like a sealed cap. Yeah, it looks like there's a seal on it, maybe, to open it. I haven't used it yet, so I know it's not. Yeah, it's definitely sealed. I should have opened this first, but there we go. It's just got a little cap on it. If you get one and don't know what to do, there you go. Learning as I go with this one. All right, so let's try using this glue as our starter. We're just going to go ahead and glue the guest check and the pattern paper to this file folder piece, whether it's a scrap or a bigger piece like I used. I didn't have any in my scrap bin, I don't think, so I just grabbed another one. And we're going to go ahead. We're just basically collaging this on here. I'm going to spread this glue out a little bit. It shouldn't be sopping wet because that's just going to ruin the paper. So let's just get this glued down in such a usable way. Hope you guys are doing great. I hope you are crafting at least at some juncture today. I know you'll enjoy it. Do something that makes you happy. Everybody needs a little bit of happy in their day, even on a Monday, especially on a Monday. And just make it a good one. You could use whatever papers you want, something interesting. If you want crinkles in it, you can have crinkles in it. I don't think they're going to make much of a difference. Once this is glued and dried, we're going to be using the circle punch, so we can take our favorite portions of the paper and make them into our tags. Let's go ahead and put this over here. Like I said, we're just going to be collaging anyway. This glue is pretty gluey, so it'll spread pretty nice, it seems. Like I said, I've never used this glue before, so this is a first for me. But it seems to be spreading really nicely this way. So that's a good indication that it will be useful for many things. I don't know what the glue or the dry time is, but it seems to be holding up while I need it. I thought it might be fun to use some of these guest checks because I don't use them often enough. And I think that they would actually give a really fun look for a tag. I've got pink ones too, so there we go. You could also use, some of your cardstock scrap. The only reason I'm using this folder is for a sturdier base, so that we have a sturdier tag when in the end. I don't want it to be too soft because then they're just really hard to work with. So we'll just kind of glue that down. Did I get all the way to the edge? What is happening over on this side? Let's put a little bit more glue here. I'm hoping this gets really sticky because I'm not seeing it just yet. There we go. We're going to let this dry before we move on. But I'm thinking about putting a little bit more paper down here so that we have more to work with. Why waste it? No need to waste it. You could layer your papers. You could use a collage. You can use any kind of base paper right here you want to. You could use one of your master boards and cut circles out of it. That would be fun. I should see if I don't think I have any nearby. But you could do that. That would be a fun way to make a tag or a faux metal tag. Make it really interesting. Let's go ahead and tear this paper off, and we're not going to waste this folder at all. Let's go ahead and put it down over here. There we go. We're going to be mass making these. I'm going to go ahead and let this dry. I'm actually going to make a couple more sheets of this off camera so we can come back. I'll be able to create quite a few of them today if I do get some mass making done. Glue that one right there. All right, I'm going to let this one dry and then I'll be back. All right, guys, once these are dried, our next step is to add some stamping and, you know, just kind of decorate them up, random. Actually, I think I want a different color for those. Just some random marks and stuff. You can use whatever stamps you like. I'm using just some random decorative filling kind of things, just to add some extra texture. You could stencil on these if you wanted to, which I might do too. We'll just do work on a couple. I did make quite a few little master boards while I was waiting for these to dry. So I've got plenty to work with, but we'll just work on these few. Added some painty papers and used this for background. This one's still pretty wet. And then this one as well. So just, you know, mix it up and have some fun with it. Let's get out a stencil. Oh, goodness, I thought I had one right here. Oh, let me grab it. Let's get out a stencil, a fun little something that we think would be decorative. And, you know, just have some fun. I found another piece of scrap paper in there. That wasn't supposed to be there. So we'll get these out. What color could we use? We could use, why don't we use some, this, for some numbers on here. Might be kind of fun. Might be kind of fun. We'll just kind of go across and see what comes of it. Just wherever it, you know, you decide would work. I don't think this is going to show on here, but we'll try. We'll just put it kind of in the middle. Is it showing it all? Oh, it is. Okay, and then we put some through the middle here. I'm not going too crazy with this color because it's a little bit different than what we've got going on, but it'll show and it'll make a difference. Let's go here too. And again, when we cut the circles out, some of these things are going to be in those circles and some of them are not. So it's okay. I do like how subtle this is actually. And again down here. No rhyme or reason to placement or color, just picking things that we like. Let's do something with this one. I'm thinking maybe a tea dye would be nice. I don't know if it's going to show up on the darker papers, but let's try it on the lighter ones at least. I've got darker ink on here, so that's going to come off too, but that's okay because I'm looking for a little bit grungy anyway, so that'll be all right. That shows. It's not dark, but it shows. Okay, I don't think this is going to show on the painty paper. I don't even think it's going to show on this book, but I'm going to try. Oh, it does a little bit. And that's perfect because it's at least there subtly. And that's all we're looking for really is interest, right? Okay, so there's those. I'm going to keep those out because I have more to do off screen. I'm going to go ahead and get out one of my big old black stamps too. I love this one. This is one of my favorites, and I'm actually going to use black soot. Let's use black soot on this one. And not looking for perfect imprint. I'm just looking for some print. Some kind of printing on there. Yeah, I can see it. Can you guys see that? Just a little bit in there. Just kind of making a little bit of a mess, but it's going to be really cool. I'm sure of it. This is really good for these little middle spots where we might put circles, so it won't have much in them. Just kind of a little additional extra detail. That is awesome. Oops, I'm going to go this way. Get in some of those corners. Just kind of all over. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish these up, and I'll come back and show you the next step. All right, friends, so we've moved on to the next step. What is our next step? I cut all these out, guys. All these. I think I'm going to have enough to share. What about you? So I made plenty. This is definitely mass making. Now, I went ahead also and cut out some of these. What is this? This is this aluminum tape. I think I got this on, probably on Amazon. It's where I tend to get random stuff like that, because if I waited to go to the store, I'd probably forget what I was looking for. Just used my same hole punch, same size, and clipped it out. Punched it, you know, made a bunch. Now you're thinking, well, they're the same size. How are they going to show on the other side? Well, that's okay. That's okay. They're the same size. I actually tried making some, and I'll show you those, that were a little bit bigger than the circle that I punched. And this is how they turned out. I don't like that. See how it's all crumpled and uneven and it looks so messy? I don't like it. So we're not doing it that way. We're doing it the same size. And I think I can still fix these with the next technique, or the next part that we're going to do here. But I'm going to put some stickers on the back of them like this. Some of them are going to actually fold over because you don't want that sticky part sticking out. So you can fold a little bit of silver over, and that's going to work out just fine. It's going to look nice, I promise you. This is a super easy technique. It really, really is. We're going to fold. I'm going to do a few of these. I'm not going to do all of these for you today. A lot of these I'll be doing tonight after I get off the camera, because you won't want to sit here for hours and hours and hours while I do this. So we're going to place this carefully on here, matching it up as closely as possible. But if it does go over, guys, like right here, that's all right. That's what we're just going to roll up around the paper, just to make sure there's no sticky edge, but also it adds a little bit of interest on this front part when there is a little bit of that silver. So that's what we want. This one has just a little bit. That's okay. That's all right. We're going to leave it just like that. Okay. We're going to take the next one. We're going to keep going. And all of these are going to look different, and they're going to be stunning, stunning, stunning. And when I cut them out, I cut over seams. I just cut wherever my little hole punch would fit. So we're just gonna go this way. All right, a little bit of that silver is showing. I need to do a few so we can at least work these together, right? Let's grab a couple of the painty ones too. That one might have been matched up almost perfectly, so I may not. Oh, I have a little bit of silver there. Give me some painty papers. There's one. And again, you can use, I don't know if I said that before. Well, I'm sure I did. Sorry, it's later in the evening now as I'm filming this, so I don't remember exactly what I said earlier. But you can use your scrap papers, not only to make the design on the front, but also if your paper's thin, to add to the back. You know, you use some of that ugly cardstock that you don't know how to use otherwise, or just scraps and bits of it that will fit a couple of these circles will be just fine. Use those up. That's a great way to use up some of those scraps in your box. If you're anything like me, you've got plenty of scraps to make this happen without having to use new papers. So that's what we want to do, is just to use that stuff. Don't go buy more for this project. Please don't. You don't need to. I promise. That one's going to go way over, I think, on one. No, not too far. Not too bad. Thought I placed it a little wonky, but it's not too bad. And it's okay if it has creases on this side too. That's all right. It's going to add to the interest on the in the overall design. That's okay. See, how many do we have now? We have a few. We have 5. Let's do one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. Let's pick a really cool one. Let's pick something. That one's kind of neat. It's got a little bit of extra something on it. By the end of the night, hopefully I'll have all of these done. If I do have a bunch of extra, guys, I may even think about putting some in my Etsy. If you're interested in that, if you're interested in purchasing some of these, let me know in the comments and I'll post some in my Etsy. It would be kind of a random thing. You wouldn't see which ones you're getting, but you'd get a handful of different ones. They'd all be different. So let me know if you're interested in that. If you are, I'll figure out how to price them and everything and post some in my Etsy. I'm going to go ahead and just use my bone folder to just kind of scrape these down once more. Make sure that they're nice and flat and adhered. I hate that word. Everybody uses it so much. Adhered. Let me adhere it. I know, that's what we're doing. We're sticking stuff down. But for some reason, that adhere word just annoys me sometimes. So let me stick this down. I know it means the same thing. All right, let's get that done. All right, that's going to be nice and adhered. So, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and do these two just to see how these turn out, because we've got a couple more techniques. I don't want to waste them. They're not my favorite, but I'm thinking that I'm going to do some embossing on these, and I think it may help mask it. I don't think I like the rough corners on these though, but I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. Let's see if I can fix them. Kind of an experiment. So we'll have the good ones and the fixie ones, the ones that I need to fix, the rough ones. Just kind of use that bone folder to reshape those corners because it is a little jagged because it's folded. Not much I can do about it, I don't think. It's not working to really, oh, I did a little bit, but now when I flatten it out again. Okay, so the next step is get yourself some sandpaper, some fine grit sandpaper, and we're going to rough these up. We want them to look old and used, right? So we need to rough them up like they've been sliding in a drawer for 50 years. Get the edges all the way around, even on the front. We're just going to do that really quick. No special technique. Just scratch it up. Okay, easy peasy. You get the idea. Okay, so there we go. We got those going on. Now, what I want to do next is something a little scary, crazy. You guys are going to be like, what? All right, but don't what me too much. I'm going to get out some alcohol inks. What am I going to get? I'm going to get ginger. I'm going to get me some pebble because I think that's a brownish color. I think I'm going to get me some copper. That's a mixative. I don't think that's the same thing. I'm going to get... not black. I don't want black. How about some sepia? That should be enough. I think that'll be enough. And then what I'm going to do is, let me get out my squashed paper towel roll because this is what happens to my paper towel rolls in here. They get squished. Yep, they do. I'll get this one out because I'm going to make a little bit of a mess here. Now, what you want to do with these is not get them too crazy. You want the alcohol ink on here, but you don't want to go too crazy with it because it's going to soak around the edges and get onto that paper some. If you put too much, then it's not going to be what you want. It's not going to be pretty at all. If you get too much on there, it's just going to soak around the edges. It's going to be messy. So you just kind of want to dab it on there. Let me see if I can do... let me see if this works any better. Yeah, actually, I like that better. So this is going to kind of soak in there. Just kind of dab it on. You're going to use different colors, so it's going to, you don't have to cover the whole thing. Just some staining that happened, you know, because of old age kind of thing. You know, it's all good. Oops. We don't have to go too crazy with it. Or if you like just the scuffed up silverback, you could just leave it that way too if you wanted. It still looks aged, right? Okay, and then we can kind of, if you get too much, just kind of wipe it back. You can also, if you have alcohol in a spray bottle, you can use that to kind of soak some of that up or make little droplets. I don't have any in a spray bottle, so I'm just gonna, you can also, if you don't have any and you want to pull some back, you can actually wet your paper towel and dab it over the spot where you think you have too much, and it'll kind of pick it up. So if you feel like you've got a little bit too much, you can do that. Like this, I don't think this color is going to show very much on this other one. Maybe. Yeah, it's just kind of picking it up, so, and muddying it. Maybe I don't need to put different colors on there. Or maybe just not this one. I don't think this one's showing at all. This is pebble, and it's really not showing. So I think it might be the same color as the silver. So we won't use that one. Let's use, see if we can add a little bit of ginger. See if that makes a difference. It's pretty much, I mean, you can't really tell it's a different color than the first one. But it is kind of making it messy, which is not what I wanted. All right, but we can add that color. And then you can also go back, I forgot about that. You can go back and, just toss that because I'm not gonna use that again. You can go back and sand that again a little bit. Just add some more marks in there. Works out pretty well. See how that just kind of knocks that color back too? Yep. Remember, this isn't your focal point anyway, so all right, next up, we're going to do some embossing. Let me gather my supplies. You can see how they're coming along so far. It's pretty realistic metal, right? Well, it is metal. It's metal, aluminum tape. It is metal. So let me gather my supplies for some embossing. I'll be right back. All right, for the next technique we're going to use some silver embossing. Now I tried a couple different things. This one is the one with the foil. I put silver embossing around it. I was hoping that maybe it would build up enough to not really notice that edge a little bit. And I might actually do something else to kind of, well, let me show you this one. This is the one that didn't, that with the metal was the same width as or the same size, and I just folded over the edge. I really like how this one kind of bled in and had a little bit of it there. And I'm thinking if I allow this one to get a little bit more of the embossing further in, like this one did, that it might mask that a little bit more, maybe still be usable. So we're going to try that. What I did basically is took my ink, my pad of my embossing ink, and just kind of went around this way. This pad looks like it's seen better days, doesn't it? I haven't been very good about closing it while I'm embossing. So let me close it. And then we're going to take this and hold this way. And just pour this over. So we'll try it. This one, I'm doing a little bit of experimenting along the way. But for the most part, it's pretty simple. Not too hard to figure out. You could use a different color of the embossing powder if you wanted to also, or you could skip it. You could just use ink if you wanted to. But I do like the metallic look since we have that on the back. And that's hard to accomplish with ink. So let me go ahead and heat this one up. Let's see how it turns out. Ah! I do want to hold on to it because it's hot. Make sure we got all of it. All right, so that definitely helped, but of course don't touch it when it's hot, and but it's still got some of that edge on it. So I won't make them like this probably anymore. I'll do the same size ones. I'll finish with what I've got, but I think that helped with the look at least. Make it look a little messy is fine. So we've got that one. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep going with the rest of these. And I'll see you at the other side when they're all finished. Well, our samplage where it's all finished. Not when those are all finished, but when these are all finished. Be right back and show you what we got. All right, one last step for now. I'm going to go ahead with scorched timber. Some of these are going to have a little bit more paper on the edges than the than some others. As far as the how do I say, raw edges goes, like the ink isn't going to stick to the embossing powder, of course, that's melted. But if there's paper near the edge, I'm just giving that a little bit more of a tone, you know, a inked tone. Just one more step. I think that makes a big difference. I'm going to show you guys a little bit more up close in just a minute. I like how some of these turned out much better than others, and I'll explain why in just a sec. So I'm kind of experimenting as I go. They're all going to be different. Like I said. That one's kind of funky looking. Almost looks like a smashed soda bottle. And I'm not fond of that. Not fond of that at all. Okay, so that's going to be that part. And then we're going to take the last step. Now, mind you, these are just bases. We can go back as we're playing with and using these and adding decorative elements to it. Like maybe we add a little tag to it, or we add a stamp with a word on it or something like that. But we can just do that. We can put a hole reinforcer there, which would be fabulous. I think I actually know where those are, so I can show you what that looks like too. In case I probably need to cut just a little, or put my hole just a little bit lower. And I like the texture on that one. You can use this to, if you have any marks on your tag that you don't particularly like and you kind of want to hide it, you could use that spot, or where you add your hole, you could put it, you know, chomp that part so you can't see it, something like that. Now let me see, got my hole reinforcers here in one of these Altoid boxes. That one's empty, so it's got to be this one. Oh, that doesn't sound like hole reinforcers. Okay, well, that's not the case. So what I'll do is get out my punch that punches them out. I need to find that. I had them recently. I had them. You guys know I had them. But they're in here somewhere. They're hidden. So it's not meant to be today. I'm just going to take some scrap paper. Because I remember recently showing you guys, if you have one of these and it just jams up and you can't figure out where the papers are going or why it's jamming up, open it. They're in there. They're in there. You have to pop that open and get them out of there, okay? Because they'll just build up and build up and build up until it doesn't work anymore. You have to get them out or it won't keep working, okay? Don't throw it away like I did. Because I did. I threw mine away. And then I went and read the reviews. And I was like, oh, okay. Because they said in the reviews why it was doing that and how they fixed it. Because there's no instructions with this thing when you get it. All right, so we'll put some of those on there. And you could use different colors if you wanted to, which would be kind of cool. Just kind of do that. I kind of feel like I would like different colors, but we're just going to do this for now. Maybe I'll put different colors on the others. Or you could put an eyelet in here. I don't know that I want to use all my eyelets on this project, so I'm not going to do that. Even if I put a hole reinforcer on it, I could always put an eyelet later if I wanted to. Why is that stuck? So depending on the project, if I'm, you know, if it's a really intricate project and it's, you know, really detailed, I would go back and put an eyelet on it. If it's just a simple project, I probably wouldn't. But that's just me. I think I'd like the addition of the eyelet a little bit better, but this works just fine. You're going to run some string through there and it's going to look really cute. So let's just put a couple on. It's a fun project. It really is. You can compartmentalize the steps too, and just do all of the cutting and then do all of the glue, you know, just do the parts and punch out 100 pieces and stamp them all, and that, you know, it's really, really fun. Really easy to do. Okay, that's enough of those. So let me show you some up close. I'll show you the differences. See how it kind of speckled out? Some of them I did a lot closer to the edge, and some of them you'll see that went into the middle a little bit more. This one is one of the ones that I cut just right, and that's a little bit of the tape that comes over. I love how it turned out. I really do. This one, you can see there's the edge of the paper that I cut across this way, and even that looks nice. It adds its own little grunge to it. And then this is one of the ones with the larger silver or larger tape in the back. And it's got that rustic edge. Maybe you like that. I don't know. That's not my favorite, but I mean, it adds its own little thing. But on these, I actually brought the silver and the embossing powder just a little bit further, just to kind of help mask it and look a little messier. This one, I really went to town with the silver embossing. Not my favorite one, but I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's going to have its own project that it'll work perfectly on. And you can see the backs of them too. You can distress them even more if you want to. And then there's that one. So I think they're turning out pretty cute. What do you guys think? Let me show you these two, at least the embossing, since I didn't finish everything. But this is about my favorite application of the embossing powder. Just kind of trying to keep it closer to the edge. I liked a little bit better. You could also use an embossing marker and just kind of trace your marker around the edge if you want a firmer line. You could also brush some of that powder off first, which I did not do. Or brush it with your embossing buddy first before you put the ink on so that the rest doesn't stick. This one's probably my favorite application there. Just refining it. So that's that, guys. So that's my project today. That's my mask making project. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll be inspired. You know I'm going to have plenty of these. I'm going to make more and more. At least got to finish those. So I'll be working all the rest of the night. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a fantastic day. And I hope that you will like and subscribe, and hope to see you in the next video. Take care, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.